Tell me about the first time you met Nanny. I like this story.
Well, that's the first good thing ever happened to me, I tell you. It was.
How'd you get up here? You weren't living up here then, before then.
Well, I'd already grown up when I met her.
How old were you?
How old was I?
20?
20 or 19.
20.
And they had the sense of about a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
I've always had common sense. I never did have much book learning. I'd come up to Roy lives up. I was pulling a 38 Ford Coupe race car. Didn't know where it was going. I just happened to hook through here. And, anyway, I went across down in the creek or Peckerwood, which one comes out that turf?
Down the creek.
Anyway, I'd come across through there, and I love old gospel music, and they had a singing there. Well, I parked the car and walked over to.
Is that the Church of God on Tusquity, right?
Yeah, yeah. They was having that singing, and I walked up to the window. Didn't go inside. I looked up there and that's got to be the most beautiful woman in the world. She was absolutely beautiful. I know it's hard to believe.
Oh,
But
I've
she
seen
was,
those old movies.
she was, to me, the most beautiful woman I ever looked at. Her girl, she was just a baby.
14.
To show you how life walks a kind of pole in life. She had on a pink dress made out of, looked like a curtain or something.
It was that raised print.
Okay.
Like they used to make.
Is that what you got on Shirley and you because you got skirting on?
My seersucker stuff?
No, it was real thin, but it had little raised flowers all over it.
But she come straight out of the choir. I just so happened to be standing like a goony bird peeping in the window there, you know. He come straight out of the choir, come back to the pew that I was peeping in, walked straight out to the end and turned and seen me and winked at me. Had she not winked at me, none of you wouldn't be here today. I would never spoke to her. But to show you how things work, I asked her if I could take her home. She said, I'll have to ask my mom. Well, her mama thought I was Edward Legs, you know, Roy Edward.
And Edward was a good church boy, right?
Yeah.
But
Didn't have good sense, but his.
she said, told her, yeah, if you'll follow us, they was riding in rolling dump truck and cheering us in. The rest of them were. Well, I followed them a little bit, and I'm too slow for me, I guess. I just went around them. Well, we got to the Tusquity Bridge up here. This was just an everyday thing to me, you know. Living kind of wild like that nowhere sometimes. I see a lot of me in here. When we got to Tusquity Bridge, I jumped the whole creek, the whole bridge, and landed 8 foot out on the pavement on the other side. I come on, took her on home, she didn't say nothing. And I didn't think nothing, because I do it all the time anyway, but walked her up on the porch there, and she gave me one of them little old Puckerdilly.
Well, I had never kissed anybody. I didn't know it.
I've been here ever since. But she was the first good thing that ever happened in my life, and if God put it together, it wasn't anything that, now who could come in here and marry your 14-year-old daughter? Anyway, I had it so bad that I went up on the mountain behind the house and I said, Lord, I want you to do one or two things today. I said, I want you to either take her completely out of my life or give her to me and I'll try to look at her. And I come on down and I told her, I said, I'm going to give you something. If you don't want it, you'll take it. And I give her a little old ring. I think it was borrowed then, wasn't it? But she just took it. I said, I'll be back here Christmas and we'll get married. Well, Pearl, there ain't no way that she gonna get married. She ain't getting out of school. She ain't. I didn't think nothing about it. I done asked the Lord one way or the other. So I went on back to, I worked at a young motor company in Charlotte, North Carolina. Christmas, I come in, turned up the lights and come back and they had to sign for her, but I just handed it to Margie. She just signed it. I thought that was kind of odd. I said, before Pearl, I said, he's out in the backyard. They had chickens back in. I went out there and her daddy, I said, you gonna sign these? He said, I don't have to sign it. Marty's already signed it. I said, no, you gotta sign it. If you don't sign it, I wouldn't marry your dog. He reached up there and had a pair of overalls like you've got a little pencil out in it. They couldn't sign it. He said, be good to her. Said, she'll make you a good wife. And he told me the God's truth. I could have never, ever, if I would have ordered one, I could have never found one as good as that nowhere. Of course, you know her here. She raised you.
Oh, yeah. She made a mighty good mama, too.
I probably raised you about 3 times harder than I should, but I knew the way I was raised, you know, you learn to depend on yourself and to make your own way. And besides, I didn't have nothing really to give you anyway, but every one of you made your own way, your own decisions, and left to college and done good, and every one of you was real smart. They got all that from her. Told me all they ever got from me was her high rear end.